If you are a fan of Star Wars and also have been loving Star Wars Jedi Survivor, you'll want to stick around for this video. Basically, what I mean by that is the fact that now for me, since I have completed the portion of the game that follows Cal Kestis meeting Dagan Gera for the first time, I have come across a revelation of my own. Granted, it might be one that people have noticed already, but it's one that I want to make a video on right now. As a disclaimer, I am currently playing through the beginning of the Jedi arc of the game right now, right as you're about to go meet Seer, so I don't know what happens in the end around the character or Deegan, so please do your best to not spoil for me. This video is only meant to be a theoretical and also fun little video to make on something that I just noticed. So basically, after we meet Deegan for the first time in some visions that Cal has, we learn that on the planet of Tanalorr that connects to Kobo, he had wanted to set up a new Jedi temple there. Unfortunately, while there, the planet was invaded and the Jedi turned their backs on him, and he became mad enough to where once Cal breaks him out of his bacta chamber, he turns to the dark side, cracking his kyber crystal enough to where he bleeds it red, turning him bad. Essentially, the gist of the video is to explain how this relates to Anakin. Every Star Wars fan knows how the character of Anakin Skywalker turned out eventually, in terms of how he also then turned into Darth Vader. At the time of Revenge of the Sith, the way his story was unfolding was essentially he was losing his faith more and more in the Jedi and what they meant by the day, week, months, and years to come in his life during the Clone Wars. Seemingly, that is one of the many connections that these two have between each other. Another thing that they have in common is their ability to lack patience. We see in one of the very first cutscenes with Deegan that he seems to not have any patience for the Council to approve his ability to train Jedi on the planet and act swiftly enough on what he wants. We saw this exact same thing with Anakin when he was trying to be approved for the rank of Master on the Council. He was struck down from getting that, and he became less patient and annoyed and more angry over time, so much to the point where Palpatine got his wish and manipulated him enough to where he turned to the dark side and betrayed everyone. There is an arc in the Clone Wars series called The Citadel, which focuses on some of our main characters trying to break out a Jedi from an insane max security prison that the Separatists hold, and one of the characters that they need to break out of is the character of Tarkin, a very famous character in Star Wars, of which in this particular arc showcased the early stages of his turn to being a really bad guy. He basically shared opinions of the Jedi that while Anakin was hesitant of them at first, he in a small way agreed with what Tarkin was saying. Basically the idea of the notion that the Jedi don't go far enough and are not needed in the war. Anakin agreed with that slightly, and so you could see the building blocks of where his character was going as he started to get more frustrated with the Jedi over time, to the point where in Revenge of the Sith we saw what happened for his turn. In a way, this also goes to show that the Jedi, in the cult-like nature of this group of people over time in a vast history, simply was reliant on a lot of the same practices that hurt a lot of people inside of it, whether that be the notion of this idea that they can't go too far in conflicts in order to either kill someone or do some really terrible things, or even to an extent of something like relationship status and not holding on to this emotional grip that you have with certain other people, whether again it might be as a friendship or as a love interest, especially as we see the fact that a character like Anakin Skywalker had to hide his relationship from so many people that he had with Padme because it would turn so many people on him. Even to an extent, Obi-Wan had something similar with his arc, as we saw in the Clone Wars with the Duchess. People like Anakin Skywalker, Dagan Gera, and even people like Qui-Gon Jinn and Ahsoka Tano, who we see more of in the middleman over time, they started to lose their faith in what the Jedi were doing, and it didn't work out a lot for a lot of the people around their lives. And of course, as we saw with a character like Ahsoka Tano, for example, she turned to the gray side of what it means to be a Jedi. She was basically indifferent. She didn't really take a side on how it should be handled, and so, again, like I said, she was more of the middleman in this whole entire situation. Again, while this might be something that I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, it is also something that I just wanted to make a video on because I love how intrinsically it is so well written into the story of this game that it connects to so many different levels of Star Wars lore, characters, and storylines alike. Again, this was just meant to be a much smaller video as it was only based on an observation I made to this point in the game where I am at now. If I had to theorize what is going to happen at the end of the game, I think Deegan is going to die. Trying to avoid spoilers as best as possible is what I'm trying to do right now, but I do think that Deegan will meet a fate similar to Anakin, which, funny enough, is something else that they might have in common. So I hope you all enjoyed this one, and let me know down below in the comment section if you also picked up on this. Again, if you've played farther enough into this game already, you already probably know what happens. But again, this game is so good right now with the story that a video like this one felt warranted to be made. And also, I just currently am loving taking my time with this game. I don't really want to rush it. So like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Jedi Survivor. I will try to get another playthrough video out tomorrow for you all, and maybe some shorts regardless how much I dislike shorts content. But those so far for me right now are actually doing pretty solid. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day today, and I will see you in the next video.